For decades, I've worked as a cardiac surgeon, and I've seen firsthand what happens when arteries become diseased. I've held calcified vessels, opened coronary arteries that were 90% blocked, and witnessed the cellular chaos that underlies heart disease. What most people don't realize is that the common ideas about clogged arteries are misleading. Your arteries are not pipes, and plaque is not simply grease that can be washed away. Those claims you see online, lemon water, apple cider vinegar, garlic supplements, are oversimplifications at best and dangerous at worst. The truth is far more complex and far more fascinating. Plaque is actually an immune response. It's inflammation caused by your white blood cells reacting to oxidized cholesterol trapped inside the artery wall. Essentially, it's an autoimmune process unfolding in your bloodstream. Understanding this mechanism is key to knowing how to reverse it, not just slow it down. How plaque forms. Your arteries have 3 layers, with the innermost called the endothelium. Healthy endothelial cells are smooth, produce nitric oxide, and prevent blood cells from sticking to vessel walls. When these cells are damaged by high blood pressure, smoking, diabetes, or chronic inflammation, they become sticky and develop gaps. LDL cholesterol then slips through these gaps into the artery wall. Once inside, LDL is exposed to oxidative stress, similar to how metal rusts. This oxidized LDL is recognized by your immune system as a foreign threat. White blood cells, specifically monocytes that transform into macrophages, rush in to engulf the LDL. These macrophages, unable to handle the volume of cholesterol, swell into foam cells, which are the first visible sign of plaque. These foam cells aren't passive. They are active responders trying to protect your arteries. But they get stuck, die, and release their contents, including cholesterol crystals and inflammatory molecules. This attracts more immune cells, perpetuating a cycle of inflammation and plaque growth. Over years, plaque pushes into the artery lumen, sometimes causing symptoms like chest pain, shortness of breath, or leg cramps. The real danger isn't just narrowing, it's rupture. Plaques are dynamic, inflamed lesions. When a thin cap ruptures, it exposes clotting factors to the bloodstream, potentially causing a heart attack, stroke, or other critical events. Importantly, smaller plaques can rupture too. They don't need to be large to be deadly. This is why traditional focus on the size of blockages doesn't fully address the problem. The role of reverse cholesterol transport. Reversing plaque isn't about widening arteries. It's about removing cholesterol from foam cells and restoring artery health. Your body naturally has a system called reverse cholesterol transport, driven by HDL cholesterol. HDL works as a transport vehicle. It docks on foam cells, activates a protein called ABCA1, and pumps cholesterol out. The cholesterol travels to the liver and is excreted. This process shrinks foam cells and can actually reduce plaque over time. The problem is that in many people, this system is impaired. HDL function is diminished, ABCA1 is not activated, and cholesterol remains trapped in the arterial wall. Without this mechanism, plaque progresses. But the good news is that specific dietary compounds can restore this pathway and promote arterial healing. Nitrates for nitric oxide production. The first step in this process is supporting endothelial health. One of the most important molecules for cardiovascular function is nitric oxide, which dilates blood vessels, improves blood flow, and reduces inflammation. Certain foods rich in nitrates, arugula and beets being the best, can restore nitric oxide production. Nitrates follow a fascinating pathway. They're absorbed in the intestine, concentrated in the saliva, and converted to nitrites by bacteria in the mouth. Swallowed nitrites enter the bloodstream and are converted to nitric oxide by the endothelium. This process improves blood flow and endothelial function within hours. It's important to note that antiseptic mouthwash can disrupt this process by killing the beneficial oral bacteria necessary for conversion. About 300 to 500 milligrams of nitrate daily, roughly 2 to 3 cups of arugula or 1 cup of beetroot juice, is enough to see benefits. Activating ABCA1 with high phenolic olive oil. Once the arteries are open, we need to remove the cholesterol. High phenolic extra virgin olive oil is particularly effective because it contains a compound called oleocanthal. This molecule has two critical actions. It reduces inflammation in the vessel wall and activates ABCA1, boosting reverse cholesterol transport. Research, including the Predimed study in Spain, has shown that consuming around 50 milliliters of high phenolic olive oil daily can reduce cardiovascular events by up to 30% compared to low-fat diets. Not all olive oil is equal. Fresh, cold-pressed, unfiltered, high phenolic oils are necessary for these benefits. Taste is an indicator. A strong, peppery burn at the back of the throat signals high oleocanthal content. Managing calcification with vitamin K2. Cholesterol is only part of the problem. Calcification is another major contributor to arterial dysfunction. As plaques mature, calcium deposits accumulate, making arteries rigid. Vitamin K2, particularly the MK7 form, activates matrix GLA protein, MGP, which inhibits calcification and directs calcium to bones instead of arteries. The richest food source is natto, a traditional Japanese fermented soybean dish, providing a potent dose of MK7. For those who can't tolerate it, aged cheeses like Gouda, or supplements providing 180 to 360 micrograms per day, are effective alternatives. Vitamin K2 has been shown to stabilize or even reduce calcium scores in clinical studies, supporting arterial flexibility and reducing cardiovascular risk. Preventing LDL oxidation. Preventing plaque starts at the source. Oxidized LDL. Polyphenols in pomegranate seeds, called punicalagins, directly bind to LDL and protect it from oxidative damage. This prevents foam cell formation and reduces plaque development. Pomegranate also increases paraoxinase activity, an enzyme on HDL that breaks down oxidized lipids, further supporting reverse cholesterol transport. A cup of fresh pomegranate arils daily provides a therapeutic dose of punicalagins. Unlike juice, the whole seeds provide fiber, antioxidants, and bioactive compounds without the high sugar content. The complete meal. By combining these elements, we create a meal that targets multiple pathways in arterial health: endothelial function, cholesterol removal, calcification inhibition, and oxidation prevention. A therapeutic salad could include 2 to 3 cups of fresh arugula, nitrates for nitric oxide, 1 cup of fresh pomegranate arils, punicalagins for LDL protection, 3 to 4 tablespoons of high phenolic extra virgin olive oil, oleocanthal for ABCA1 activation, 50 grams of natto, or 3 ounces of aged Gouda, or 180 microgram MK7 supplement, vitamin K2 for calcification control. Eat this meal daily, ideally at lunchtime, to maximize nitric oxide production during daytime activity. Chew slowly to allow salivary conversion of nitrates. Avoid mouthwash and low-quality oils, and maintain a diet free of seed oils, refined carbs, and excess sugar to reinforce these effects. Why fat isn't the enemy. Contrary to conventional wisdom, dietary fat from quality sources like olive oil and nuts is not harmful and is essential for reversing arterial plaque. Low-fat diets reduce HDL, impair reverse cholesterol transport, increase triglycerides, and promote small, dense LDL formation, all of which worsen cardiovascular risk. A Mediterranean-style diet high in healthy fats supports optimal lipid profiles and promotes plaque regression. Monitoring progress. Objective measures are essential for understanding whether these interventions are effective. Calcium score. Repeat every 18 to 24 months to track plaque regression. Advanced lipid panel. Includes LDL particle number, size, HDL particle number, ApoB, and Lp(a). Carotid ultrasound. Measures intima media thickness as a plaque indicator. High-sensitivity CRP. Assesses systemic inflammation, ideally below 0.5 milligrams per liter. These tests provide data on whether interventions are truly modifying disease risk and allow adjustments if needed. Why doctors may not know. Many physicians are not trained in nutrition or cellular mechanisms. Traditional medical education focuses on prescribing medications and performing procedures, rather than understanding how food and lifestyle can reverse disease. Research shows that lifestyle interventions, such as those pioneered by Dean Ornish and Caldwell Esselstyn, can shrink plaques and reverse coronary artery disease. However, these approaches are often overlooked because they cannot be patented or monetized like pharmaceuticals. Integrating diet with standard therapy. For most people, dietary interventions should complement, not replace, medications like statins. Statins lower LDL, but do not activate reverse cholesterol transport, stop calcification, or prevent LDL oxidation. Combining statins with targeted dietary interventions addresses both cholesterol levels and the underlying cellular mechanisms, offering a comprehensive approach to reversing arterial disease. Practical implementation. Sourcing. Choose fresh, high-quality ingredients. Arugula can be organic or conventional. Pomegranates should be whole fruit. Olive oil should be high phenolic, fresh, and stored in dark glass bottles. Natto from Asian grocery stores or high-quality aged Gouda. MK7 supplements if food is not tolerated. Timing. Eat the meal consistently each day, preferably at lunch for optimal nitric oxide effect. Preparation. Simple and fast. Wash greens, de-seed pomegranate, drizzle olive oil, add cheese or natto. Chew thoroughly. Avoid. Mouthwash, low-quality oils. Spinach as a substitute for arugula. Processed foods, refined carbs, seed oils. The science behind reversal. Each component of this meal targets a specific biological pathway. Nitrates restore nitric oxide. Olive oil activates reverse cholesterol transport. Vitamin K2 inhibits calcification. Punicalagins prevent LDL oxidation. Clinical studies support these mechanisms, showing that arterial function improves, plaque regresses, and cardiovascular events decrease. Conclusion. Arterial plaque is not a passive deposit. It's an active, inflamed lesion influenced by cholesterol, calcium, oxidation, and endothelial health. The science is clear. You can reverse plaque through targeted interventions that restore nitric oxide, activate ABCA1, prevent LDL oxidation, and control calcification. This requires consistent, precise dietary strategies combined with monitoring and, when necessary, standard medications. By understanding the biology, making intentional food choices, and supporting your body's natural repair mechanisms, you can reduce plaque, improve artery function, and lower your risk of heart attack or stroke. This is a practical, evidence-based approach grounded in decades of research and clinical experience, one that empowers you to take control of your cardiovascular health at a cellular level.